Let's chat today about a market structure which is called pure or perfect competition. Now we're going to start with this one because it becomes our point of reference against which we'll compare other market structures to see whether they achieve what firms do achieve in this particular market structure. So quick recap, what are we talking about? We're talking about a market where we've got many small firms, so no one firm is big enough to actually influence market price by withholding supply. We're talking about standardised or homogenous or identical products or services. We refer to the firms operating in these markets as price takers. They have no control over price at all. We're talking about markets where there's minimal barriers to entry, no huge amounts of start-up capital, no special licences required or patents to overcome, and a complete absence of what we call non-price competition, for example, advertising. There's none of that here. So, for example, let's say this is the market for carrots. So many small carrot growers. So how do we draw, or how do we slot our individual firm into this? Let's add our individual firm, or our individual operator, right next door. Now, the first hint that we might want to draw our firm's demand curve as being infinitely or perfectly elastic comes from our reference here. Remember that one of the key factors affecting price elasticity demand was range and availability of close substitutes. Well, here there are many firms producing a standardised product, so we're suggesting that the degree of substitutability is infinitely large, and that would hint at the fact that, yeah, okay, no one firm can influence market price. So if a firm is a price taker, if we're looking at costs and revenues in monetary units, and we're looking at what it's costing us to produce certain levels of output and what revenues we're going to derive from producing a certain level of output. If a firm is a price taker, they take this price. That is the price that is set by the market conditions of supply and demand. Now, remember one other little thing. This is also the firm's average revenue curve. So how do we know that? Well, remember that total revenue, TR, is P times Q. Therefore, average revenue is P times Q over Q. Cancel the common factor. AR equals P. This is true, and it's true for all firms. We'll find that as we go along. So here's our firm's average revenue curve. Now, one other thing. This average is constant at all quantities of output. Same average revenue. What do we know about marginal and average values? Answer: if an average is constant, the only way it can be constant is if the marginal value is constant as well. Ergo, therefore, in this particular situation, for the individual firm operating in this market, the marginal revenue curve is the same as the average revenue curve. Now, why have I told you that? I need to share with you a little golden rule. You know, George and I have talked a lot about profit maximisation. That it's the principal motivating factor for firms operating in a capitalist market-based economy. So my question to you is, what quantity of output will this individual carrot grower provide to the marketplace, given these characteristics of that market structure? Well, I'm going to suggest to you that the profit maximising rule for this firm is that they will produce according to this precondition. And we'll prove continually that this precondition is true for all firms, irrespective of the market structure they operate in. Okay, so we've got MR, Of course, we know what this little one looks like, don't we? There it is, right there. Bingo. MR equals MC. What's the significance of this? Answer. It's the quantity of output where these two variables are equated. It's the quantity of output that this farmer will offer to the market that maximises their profit. Now, do a quick check. Why don't they offer Q1? Have a look. MR's there, but MC's up there. Now, ask yourself the question. If you were in business and the marginal cost, the addition to total cost of producing one more unit of output was greater than the revenue you're going to derive from it, would you do it? No, you wouldn't. And similarly, why wouldn't you produce Q2? Because the marginal cost of producing Q2 is down here and the marginal revenue is up here. Therefore, the additional revenue you would derive from producing an additional unit of output is greater than the cost of doing so. So you'll actually expand your output up to the very point where MR equals MC. Good rule. Now I know what you're thinking. Where's ATC? Where's AVC? Next clip, I'll show you.